Howdy folks, welcome to the bar, and it's tasting day on these two beers. The dry extract lager. These are full extract, that's a fully dry extract. These were brewed back on the 1st of July. They were put into a keg on the 16th of July. So they are now 1 week short of 2 months old. So they've had a nice bit of time to settle. They poured a little bit, just a little bit aggressively. But okay, that would be more a case of they were the first beers poured off the keg for probably a few days. And the keg would have been just a little bit overcharged. I do leave my gas on all the time. So you can get that little bit of a extra boost the first beer you pour after bloody haven't had a session for a while. But anyway, this is the two versions. I'll put a link up the top to Brew Day so you can go back and have a look. But just quickly, the recipe was 1.9 kilos of light dry malt, 200 grams of sparkling amber, 100 grams of dry wheat, and 700 grams of dextrose. This is in a 22 litre batch. Magnum at 60 minutes for 15 IBU. Hallertau Mittelfrüh at 20 minutes for 5 IBU. And SARS at 10 minutes for 4 IBU. Actual measurements are 13 grams of Magnum, 20 grams of Hallertau, and 30 grams of SARS. So all up we're looking at about 23 IBU. So somewhere in the range of a Czech lager, that sort of thing. Original gravity 1044, and this was fermented with the new SAF lager E30, their new fruity estery yeast, hence the E. I assume that's what the E for is, estery. And this fella was brewed with a mix of Diamond from Lalbrew and W3470. The reason I did that because the Diamond packet was, I think, was 2 months out of date when I pulled it out. The idea was to go Diamond originally, simply because the Diamond is a very clean yeast. The 3470 can push a little bit of fruity notes, and I was trying to get it as clean as possible to compare to the E30. But anyway, that's where we went. Essentially that's still a fairly clean. It's a very well used lager yeast, where this is the new kid on the block. So I think it was to try and compare the two. Ferment wise, things tagged along fairly steadily. Started at 12 degrees, dry pitch. So this was doesn't say here, but the packet I got was, I think it was 20, or might have been 25 grams. I get it. It's up in the original video. I should have bloody written it down, but I haven't. But I did like standard, double pack pitching for a lager. And it was one packet of Diamond and one packet of W3470. So about 22 grams there. So about the same pitch. 12 degrees for the first 8 days, then raised to 18 after that 8 days. Now at 8 days, the E30 was at 1010, the Diamond was at 1012. That all but finished ferment at that point. So they went up to 18 degrees for 4 days for a de-rest and just to finish off. And then 4 days later, they'll drop down to 2 degrees, held there for 2 days before they were kegged. Actually, it was 3 days in the end. It was meant to be 2. 2 was the plan, ended up being 3. Both had a final gravity of 1008, and that had been achieved before a cold crashed. So both have got about 82% attenuation, which is, well, on the middle to sort of upper side of both of all three use range. 80 to 84 is the expected range for the E30 and the W34 70, so we're sort of right in the middle there. And the diamond is 77 to 83, I think it was. I've got each one here, just let me confirm. I think that's what 77 to 83, so at the upper end for the diamond. And that's in there. Now, like, because I mean, they look exactly the same. It's the same bit, up and down, only the yeast. Clarity wise, they're very, 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 very similar. Yeah, I would probably say that maybe the E30 is just the tiniest little bit clearer, but give that another 4 weeks in the keg, bring it up to 3 months, which is sort of the lagering time I like to put on a lager. Then they're going to be nice and clear. But anyway, let's get into some tasting. No difference. The nose is, for all intents and purposes, the same. You can poured a decent head. It's holding a, nice little cap there. So let's start with the Old Faithful, the 3470 and the diamond. That's a nice beer. It's got classic European sort of flavour and feature. It's relatively crisp and clean, yet still holding a nice roundness in the mouth. Which is very much what separates the lagers from the pilsners. There's a little bit of estery note there. A little bit of influence from the hops, but for the most part, it's a simple, nice malty, tasty, lager. It's got all the things you expect, all the things you'd expect to get from an all grain beer, with no apparent, weird or off flavours. E30. Okay. Again, as clean. It's fairly crisp. Like I said, not bone crisp, but it's crisp, but while still holding some roundness. It's that sort of balance between the two. Nice malt. A little bit of sweetness, and there is a little bit. There is a tad more of the estery sort of a note. I'm not getting any, banana or any real distinct fruity type of feel, but there is definitely a slightly elevated yeasty note over that, but it's not much. I said you're getting that note from I think you're picking up that note to some degree from the 3470. This is just lifting it just a little bit more. Pardon me. But yeast aside for a second, beer wise, I would quite confidently say that there'd be probably 80 to 85% of all grown home brewers could not produce that quality of lager with all grain. Even with good experience. They are two very, very decent, lager beers. And yes, I did add some minerals. I put 5 grams of gypsum and about 1.6 grams of calcium chloride, 3:1 ratio. So I was pushing the crisper, bitter side of the equation with the minerals, which is generally where you're going to take a lager. So yeah, so there was mineral additions, but this has produced a really good quality brew. I had commented, I did put a post on Facebook. I think I was doing tasting on these maybe a week or so ago. I was just like sitting down drinking, and I commented that I'd sat down and drank a lager from a commercial brewer just before, and I tipped it out. I couldn't finish it, and then I had this and was like, and that's what I'm saying. People are asking, and this is what led to this: can you make a decent lager with dry extract? Yes, you can. This isn't news to me. I've known this for a long time. I've done it before. Anyone who's been around the channel for a while certainly would have seen it. I've got really no issue with dry extract in general. For any kind of beer. But it certainly works here. As for these particular brews, what would I do to tweak them? And because, we can't ever be completely happy with what we got, even if we are happy with what we got. I think the Magnum, as the initial upfront bittering, is working for the actual bitterness level, but it's not bringing any contribution as far as flavour. I think, a Hallertau or a Saaz up front, again depending on exactly where you prefer to go with your hops and exactly what sort of flavour profile you want. I think it's going to just lift this beer in just a little bit. The Saaz will bring in a little bit of spiciness, a little bit of pepper. Even with that 60 minutes, it's going to bring in a little bit. The Hallertau is going to bring in a little bit, a little bit of earth. That European earth, it's different to like a Pride or Ringwood earth, but maybe potentially some notes of tobacco. But if you wanted a tobacco, I'd probably be more inclined to go a Tettnanger, which again would work, or even a Hersbrucker. Any of those noble European hops are all going to work, depending on exactly what style you want. I've never done one with Tettnanger or the bloody Hersbrucker, and I really need to. I've been stuck with the Hallertau, Mittelfrüh, and the Saaz because I like both of them. They're very good classic styles. But yeah, that would be my main thing, to get that in there. And it was the plan. It's just I didn't have enough. I thought I had more Hallertau than I did. My inventory said I had enough, but when I went in there, I only had about half of what I thought I did. So I didn't have enough to do the bittering and a flavour addition, and I wanted it more in the flavouring. As far as flavouring goes, yes, I think it's working, but just flipping the coin a little bit. If you were to leave it with Magnum up front, you realistically could boost those late additions by 50% and bring up a little bit of the of the note, particularly the Saaz. I think you could drop another 15 or 20 grams of the Saaz, bring it up. That's only going to bring it up another 2, maybe 3 IBU, and it's going to give you a bit more of that tail end flavour. But overall, it's all good. I think the level of malt's actually working quite nicely. The amber is bringing in a little bit of extra depth, to some degree that decoction type sort of flavour, that Maillard reaction type flavours bring in a little bit extra depth in the malt, and the malt depth on this is really nice. $100 of wheat you could probably leave out, and just replace that with just straight light dry malt. That was sort of just to help a little bit with some head retention, but it's certainly not necessary, and yeah, certainly replaceable. Just like I said, just add a little bit more light dry malt instead of the wheat, and you could play around with the dextrose, but I think as this is presenting, it's sitting at a nice level. It's keeping the body, like I said, big enough that it's nice in the mouth, but light enough that it's still a bit crisp. The 4.7%, the alcohol alcohol's all right. You could edge that up just a little bit, and still quite easily stay well within style. It's only on the bottom end of style for really a European lager, so you could push up to 5.1%, and you could do that. So you could pull up another 200 grams of dextrose, or 100 of light dry malt, another 200 dextrose over the recipe, and pull up a little bit. But I wouldn't be changing that dextrose ratio too much. It's keeping it at a nice place. As for the yeast, I can't fault the E30. It's produced a nice beer. It's done nice. It's fermented exactly as a lager yeast should. Like I said, day 8 it was 10-10. So if you'd done a standard 7-day ferment before ramping, you'd certainly have no issue. Like I said, this was 12-14. It would end up a 15-day ferment. So it's not a slow ferment as far as a lager goes. It's very, very acceptable. And as I said, if you went to de-rest on day 7, you could still do a 5 day at 18, 19, 20, whatever you like. Still get your 2 or 3 day cold crash in, and still be done in 2 weeks. So that's a plus for me, and you're still drinking a beer that tastes like a lager. You're not drinking a fucking full ester driven brew that's been driven by a high temperature. The Diamond 3470, just a tad cleaner on the flavour because there's less of that estery note, but I think that would be very much a personal preference as to which one you preferred, and I realistically have a hard time picking one over the other, and I'm not going to. They're both very nice beers. I'll happily drink either. The head, whilst not hanging around, there's still a good cap on those beers. There's a reasonable bit of lacing there. You brew that, present it up to any of your family, your friends, they're gonna think you're a fucking genius, and it's fucking easy, simple. Water, dump in some malt, boil it, put some hops in, cool it, get in the fucking fermenter. Simple, easy. I say get on it. If you never brewed yourself a dry extract lager, this weekend is the time to do it, because this weekend, if you're brewing Saturday or Sunday, I get granted, not everyone's going to be able to brew Saturday. If you're brewing Saturday or Sunday this weekend, where we're at, what, the 11th, 12th, 14th and 15th September, 3 months, October, November, December, bang. You got these beers sitting in a keg, perfectly ready for Christmas. Get you through the Christmas holidays and into the new year, and through the fucking heat of January. Anyway, guys and dolls, comments and questions down the bottom, as always. Patreon to the channel, thank you very much. Thumbs up for your support. There's a link down the bottom if you're interested in seeing what Patreon's about. Main thing for me, keeps the channel going. There's bonuses for coming along. Yeah, you thank me for helping you, I thank you for helping me. If you subscribe to the channel, thank you. If you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button down there, ring the bell, buddy, get notified when there's a new video. You won't miss anything. And if you like the video, hit the thumbs up button down there. But for now, I'm Little John. This is Dry Extract Lager. It's something you should try. And I'll see you on the next video, where we will be brewing beer, drinking beer, or talking beer. Till then, good brewing.